Hey everyone, it's Zach with Palantir Research. Palantir has a big problem that management has been trying to not so subtly remove from the spotlight. And it's really not a secret, but we may be reaching a critical turning point to see if this trend continues or can turn around with earnings coming soon. So it is net dollar retention. I'll talk about the overall performance of this metric, when it has been disclosed by Palantir, as well as where to actually find them, because it's not so easy where to find them, and that's part of the story. But also on my expectations too on how this will be for earnings on Monday, as well as going forward for future quarters. So don't worry, I've consolidated these numbers together where available, but it's important to show the progression of actually how these numbers were disclosed by management, and also how we may be able to find it on the next earnings if they continue to disclose this in a kind of small way. But really fast, for those who are new, net dollar retention is essentially a metric to show how good you are at increasing your revenue for existing customers. So if you have more than 100%, it means you're getting more money from customers. And Palantir provides language on their definition of this metric, so you're trying to look at the cohort without mixing in new people. So first, we got the full year report for 2021, where we get it prominently on the top of a customer growth slide here, showing 131% for 2021. So pretty easy to find, and this continues for a while, with Q1 2022 showing 124%, Q2 2022 at 119%, Q3 2022 at 119% as well. And then we start to see the numbers slowly trying to be hidden with Q4 2022, and that's closing out at 115%. But now we get our first huge way of them showing they don't want to draw much attention here. I'm showing the whole slide, but zoomed in at the very bottom left here, total revenue growth graph, we get the net dollar retention of 111% for Q1 2023. And then Q2 2023, they did a similar thing, showing a value of 110%. But then they go even further for the latest earnings from Q3 2023. They put it on the additional metrics and notes slide and made sure it was part of a tiny paragraph here at the bottom of 107%. So yeah, with all these slides shown together, you can see the obvious progression of how they're trying to draw less attention to this, even though it was touted very much so in 2021. But obviously, it's because the numbers were so good. Now, here's the consolidated one again, and as you can see, it's been going down. Doesn't even matter to look at quarterly comparisons, honestly, in my opinion, considering it's just been downtrending the whole time. So I'm not expecting a huge turnaround of this metric for Q4 2023, and that's coming out, of course, on tomorrow. But will we finally get to see a stopgap here or a tiny uptick? Maybe at least 107%, we'll hope there. You'll need to remember this is amongst more customers and revenue for the comparables, so being able to expand revenue generation from existing ones is crucial for a scalable business. It's always great to have new customers, of course, but do you have the value and pricing power to actually ask more of your customers? Or if you're providing more value to them that they're willing to pay for? I wouldn't be surprised to see a potential uptick later on into the year, considering AIP is still a relatively new product, less than a year old, and that they'd be able to upsell this to those who are using them. So we know from the past AIP cons, existing Foundry customers were already getting access to AIP and building real value bringing use cases. But that still brings up the question of monetization of AIP, and we know management has been openly saying they'll worry about monetization later as they ramp up users. So I'd consider myself a more patient investor, but I definitely, over multiple quarters into 2024, this net dollar retention metric continues to downtrend, and it's concerning, and it's going under 100% possibly will be worrying, meaning you're getting less money from existing customers, aka you're losing them, or they're not finding value in your product to pay you as much. So I guess we'll have to worry about that once we get there, if that's even a possibility. Hopefully that never happens. But even though this is a big problem, this is still backwards looking and hasn't taken the full breadth of AIP boot camps, as well as AIP the product itself, and management's overall excitement that we've been seeing the past few months. So the only real way to mess this up is if they just completely hide it and not disclose it anymore, or it's dropped so much and it's actually going to muddy up the narrative of how well Palantir is doing to keep customers, because you can talk all about it, but if the net dollar retention isn't there, then that's going to say the opposite. So looking forward to earnings and seeing what do we have here going forward. It'll be included in my total recap video, and I'll start working on that once earnings and the call comes out. But let me know though if you have the same concerns on net dollar retention below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.